stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And there goes the projector.
Take it out.
Madam Clerk.
Councilor Comito?
Present.
Councilor Burke?
Present.
Councilor Janik?
Present.
Councilor DiMederos? Present. Councilor Edwards?
Present.
Councilor Perry?
Present.
Councilor Paul is absent.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to turn the proceedings over to our chief, and we can proceed with swearing in Deputy Chief Miguel.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the council for having us tonight. I know it was 2 weeks ago that I kind of hijacked the meeting, but it's important. It's important that we recognize the people that are here, for the promotions that we're going to make tonight, for the significant others, the family members, the parents that are here tonight. Thank you. Thank you for everything you do to support us, for worrying about us every night when we leave to go to work, and then being relieved when we get home, dealing with our cranky emotions every time we get home from a tough night or a tough shift. It's greatly appreciated, and we can't do that without you. So thank you for everything that you do. All of the badges that are going to be pinned on the people tonight that are going to be promoted were given to their significant others or whoever they chose to pin that on them. And I did that intentionally so that you know when they go to work, you'll always be with them. First up tonight to be promoted is from the captain's position to the deputy chief of police, Michael Miguel. The deputy chief has held numerous ranks throughout the department, all of the ranks. He's handled major investigations throughout his time in detectives, recently handling our department's RMS training. I am glad to have him by my side, and he is being pinned tonight by his wife, Carrie. Yep. Not yet.
For those at home wondering, this was officially done, but we want to make sure we do it here as well.
Repeat after me. I, Michael Miguel,
I, Michael Miguel,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and obey the laws of the United States
and obey the laws of the United States
and of the state of Rhode Island,
and of the state of Rhode Island,
that I will in all respects
that I will, in all respects,
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the Town of Tiverton,
and ordinances of the Town of Tiverton,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of Deputy Chief of Police
and will faithfully discharge the duties of Deputy Chief of Police,
for the Town of Tiverton,
for the Town of Tiverton,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Lieutenant Stephen Perillo has been a member of our department. He's held the rank of sergeant, he's held the rank of detective sergeant, and recently being promoted tonight to the lieutenant. His responsibilities will be on the day shift, which he will command the officers between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Congratulations. Lieutenant Perillo's wife and his daughter will be pinning on his badge tonight. Done with that.
I, Stephen Perillo,
I, Stephen Perillo,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and of the state of Rhode Island,
and of the state of Rhode Island,
that I will in all respects
and I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the Town of Tiverton,
and ordinances of the Town of Tiverton,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of lieutenant
and the duties of lieutenant
for the Town of Tiverton.
for the Town of Tiverton.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Captain Brian Pelagi has been a member of our department. He's held the rank of sergeant. He has handled our accreditation system, and he is tonight being promoted to the rank of captain. Congratulations, Captain. Captain Pelagi will be pinned tonight with his badge by his wife, Alice.
Raise your right hand and repeat
I, Brian Pelagi,
after me. Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear to
that I will support the Constitution,
support the Constitution,
obey the laws of the United States of America,
obey the laws of the United States of America,
state of Rhode Island,
and the state of Rhode Island,
that I will in all respects
that I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of captain
captain
Sergeant Jason Kovalecki has been transferred from the Uniform Division afternoon shift and is now Detective Sergeant Jason Kovalecki. He has served our department well, and I can say with pride that I don't know if there's another Tiverton police officer who has taken more guns off the streets or has been more proactive during their time here. Proud of you, Sergeant. The sergeant's badge tonight will be pinned on by his girlfriend, Shannon.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jason Kovalecki,
I, Jason Kowalski,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and of the state of Rhode Island,
and of the state of Rhode Island,
that I will in all respects
and I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
and observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the Town of Tiverton,
and ordinances of the Town of Tiverton,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of Detective Sergeant
the duties of Detective Sergeant
for the Town of Tiverton.
for the Town of Tiverton.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Being promoted tonight to sergeant from the rank of patrolman is Nicholas Jamrog. The newly promoted sergeant will be taking his responsibilities on the afternoon shift between 4 to midnight. Proud to have you, Sergeant. Nice job. The sergeant's badge tonight will be pinned on by his dad.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Nicholas
I, Nicholas Jamrod,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and of the state of Rhode Island,
and of the state of Rhode Island.
that I will in all respects
I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the Town of Tiverton.
and ordinances of the Town of Tiverton,
I will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of sergeant
the duties of sergeant
for the Town of Tiverton,
for the Town of Tiverton.
so help me God.
So help me God.
For the record, Sergeant, we never refuse a kiss from your daddy. Next to be promoted is Sergeant Nelson Marrera. The sergeant spent most of his time with us on the day shift. He has always been willing to take acting roles and willing to go to every shift. It was an easy promotion for us, Sergeant. Job well done. The sergeant is being pinned tonight by his wife, Brittany.
Very good.
I don't know how the rest will go, though.
Repeat after me. I, Nelson Marrera,
I, Nelson Marrera,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
will support the Constitution
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and of the state of Rhode Island,
and of the state of Rhode Island,
that I will in all respects
that I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the Town of Tiverton,
and ordinance of the Town of Tiverton,
will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of sergeant
the duties of sergeant
for the Town of Tiverton,
for the Town of Tiverton.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Great.
Being promoted to the rank of corporal is Corporal Mike Tapazio. The corporal has spent most of his time on the day shift and has been an acting sergeant for several months and has done a great job leading the day shift. Well done, Corporal. The corporal will have his badge pinned on by his wife, Annie.
Repeat after me. I, Michael Tapazio,
I, Michael Tapazio,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and of the state of Rhode Island,
and of the state of Rhode Island,
that I will in all respects
and will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the Town of Tiverton,
and ordinances of the Town of Tiverton,
will faithfully discharge
faithfully discharge
the duties of corporal
the duties of corporal
for the Town of Tiverton,
for the Town of
so
Tiverton,
help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Being promoted to the rank of corporal is Patrolman Jordan De Silva. Officer De Silva has been working the day shift as of late, and he's done a fantastic job. His investigative skills are second to none. Nice job, Corporal. The corporal will have his wife Kelsey pin on his back.
Jordan De Silva,
I, Jordan De Silva,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and of the state of Rhode Island,
and of the state of Rhode Island,
that I will in all respects
that I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the Town of Tiverton,
and the ordinances of the Town of Tiverton,
faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of corporal
the duties of corporal
for the Town of Tiverton,
for the Town of Tiverton,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Corporal Lewis Walton has been working on our afternoon shift. He has been promoted to the position of corporal, and he'll be taking over the responsibilities on our midnight shift. Corporal Walton will have his girlfriend, Sydney, pin on his badge. Wife? Sorry. He got more of the evil eye than I did right there. Take it.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Lewis Walton,
I, Lewis Walton,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and of the state of Rhode Island,
and of the state of Rhode Island,
that I will in all respects
and that I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the Town of Tiverton,
and ordinances of the Town of Tiverton,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of corporal
the duties of corporal
for the Town of Tiverton,
for the Town of Tiverton.
so help me God.
So help me God.
So he couldn't be with us tonight. Lieutenant Huber's wife, Lieutenant Huber will be transferred into the Planning and Training Division, but the lieutenant's wife is having contractions tonight, so he's got a little bit of a decision to make there. I think he made the right one, but he is with us always. I'd like to thank the council for letting us take over this meeting tonight, the administrator, the clerk for all their help, all of you for showing up. The support that you give us is unwavering, and it means a lot to everyone here tonight that was promoted. Thank you for all of that. It also marks a monumental time for the department. With all the promotions that you see tonight, we now have mandatory supervisors throughout the Tiverton Police Department on every shift. Something that the past administrator has worked on, the council, the police union, myself. Thank you. Looking forward to working with you throughout your careers. Thank you for all your support. You can join us in the back corner. We'll see you there.
We will be taking 5 minutes before we get on with the consent agenda, so everybody can go to the back corner. Thank you. All right, so next item on the agenda, we're just going to get this out of the way fast. Consent agenda. Would any members of the council like to pull any items off of the consent agenda as listed? All right, hearing none, I'd like to... Okay. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilor Perry. All those in favor? None opposed? All right, now, without objection, I'd like to move items 8D and 7A out of order. We'll do them in that order as well. So, Police Chief Costa, update on the food drive. Chief.
So, as many of you are aware, I'm still unsure where we stand right now with SNAP benefits. For the town or anybody else in the state or the country, I have recently and have been working with the food pantry for several years. I've spoken to the coordinator at the Tiverton Food Pantry on Stafford Road. The Tiverton Police Department has graciously allowed me to continue a program I started several years ago. We will be funding $1,000 at Thanksgiving to the Tiverton Food Pantry and $1,500 again at Christmas time. With that being said, with benefits being cut, I don't know if that's enough. I know that we have spoken in the past about trying to do something if people do come into hard times and are needed these programs. I am more than willing to step up in that role and to help out the council or the town in any way that I can. Whether that be in a reoccurring weekly role, whatever you decide to do, I will be able to set that up for the food pantry. And I will be meeting with her. I spoke to her today. I'll be meeting with her again on Wednesday when we do our food delivery for Thanksgiving and have a better grasp of where we're at. She did advise me earlier today that SNAP benefits had been restored. They just don't know for how long.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions from the council?
I do.
Councilor Perry.
Chief, I also reached out to her, and I had no response. As you know, I run a food pantry in Fall River, and we just did some quick numbers because someone asked me, how many people do you serve from Tiverton? We serve 83 families from Tiverton. So what I wanted to do is speak to her, find out how many families she's actually receiving from Tiverton, because I think she only does Tiverton itself.
It is a challenge. The food pantry in Tiverton is very small.
I've been in it.
Yeah.
It's a closet.
Yeah, you can put your arms out and touch both sides.
Correct.
Yeah.
I have pictures of it on my camera.
She's currently working also with the Little Compton Food Pantry as well, and they are exchanging supplies as need be, or if they have different storage items, refrigerated items, freezer items, so they're working together.
Yeah.
But I could work and get you a number, sir, if you'd like, and get you something a little more solid.
That would be good, because my thought was, if the town is going to do anything for her, I think the way we should do it is, I think she purchases the product from the Rhode Island Food Bank. I'm pretty sure, that's what they told me.
So, yes and no. She does get some items from the Rhode Island Food Bank. She also does a weekly delivery from Clements Market in Portsmouth.
Okay,
But she has limited funds to spend there. When we do the food drive, and how I've organized it for several years, is I purchase the items from Stop and Shop. The police department picks them up and we deliver them right to the food pantry.
Right.
If this is something that the council wishes to pursue, I would probably set something up on a reoccurring weekly basis and probably maybe even do a Peapod
Well,
delivery if that's.
that's why I would like to speak to her, because I believe she can purchase from the Rhode Island Food Bank,
Okay,
which would be a lot cheaper.
okay.
I know what I pay for my product, and I'm pretty sure she can get the same from the Rhode Island Food Bank. So my thought would be that if this continues, which hopefully is going to stop tonight, what we should do, I think, is to let her purchase the food from Rhode Island Food Bank and then give us the receipt and we'll pay that bill.
I'm willing to work with it, sir, however you'd like.
Because, looking at her food space that she has there, she doesn't have a lot of space.
does
So
not.
she can't handle a lot of product, coming in. So, and that's why I'd like to speak to her.
I'll make it happen.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Next item on the agenda is the public hearing. As advertised, it's approval of proposed amendments to the Tiverton Code of Ordinances, Chapter 10 Animals, Article 2 Dogs. The proposed ordinance amendment will add a new Section 10-40 Dog Park Rules and Regulations and Section 10-41 Dog Park Hours of Operation, which will establish rules for and hours of operation of the Raymond F. Jones Memorial Dog Park. As this is a public hearing, I'd like to open up the public hearing. Would any members of the public like to speak on this topic? Any members of the public? Any members of the public? Hearing none, I'd like to close the public hearing. Any counselors have any questions? The chief is here, as this did originate from his department. Counselor Camino.
So I'm not sure if these need to be directed to the chief or whoever wrote the ordinance. Just a couple of questions. Why no dogs under 6 months old? Why no pinch collar, choke collar, or electric collar devices within the park at any time? And why no dog treats? So a lot of people bring their dogs to the park and they train. People train with treats in their pocket. So I just don't know why a couple of these things are in here, if anybody has an answer.
Do you want to answer? Because I could probably answer some of
Counselor
this.
Tiverton.
I do know that the 6-month rule is because they're not fully vaccinated. As far as the treats, I don't know if you've ever been there, Craig, but someone has one treat and they get attacked by 20-some dogs and they get aggressive to get that treat. So I think that's what that's about. And as far as the collars, no, the dogs have to be unleashed there. So I'm not sure, like, I don't know a pinch. Pinch, you have to have a leash on it, right? So I think that's probably what those, yeah, and he's saying yes to me.
It is.
Yeah, so that's probably the reasons for that. The treats, I totally agree on that because I've seen somebody sneak them in, and it's gotten pretty ugly.
So this came from the animal control officer. Well, we looked at other ordinances from other communities, and we did revise what was originally proposed, but this is what, after speaking with the animal control officer and the chief of police and the people who, they thought this was the best ordinance that we could come up with, looking at other similar communities where this came from, so. I
Is
can't
there
answer
anything
this,
you
but-
want to add to what I said? I think
I think you're spot on. The only thing I would probably add is that the pinch collars, I don't know if the dogs became entangled, if they would cause injury to another dog, and I would suggest that that's probably what that's about. But in agreeing with Mr. Marcello, this is kind of a standard package that was taken from other towns.
Thank you, Chief. Any other questions from the council? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve. Counselor Burke.
On item B, is there any right to appeal if I'm banned or my dog is banned? Is there any right to appeal?
It doesn't say, it doesn't state it.
I don't see that, yeah.
I don't know who you would appeal to. We can certainly put that in,
That's-
we can
that's-
consider it.
I'm
yeah.
fine with moving forward, but I
Yeah.
think that's an important piece to add at some point soon.
The only thing I would say is minor infractions, I'm sure we could look at. Aggressive dogs would be handled on a totally separate
Yeah, that-
situation. We have a mechanism to handle aggressive dogs, so that wouldn't fall under this.
Yep.
We can certainly look at that for the future to see if it becomes an issue.
All right.
Right, I'm sorry, go ahead.
The only other part I don't agree with is the electronic collars. I think you should be able to have some dogs trained with that electronic collars and have a very easy to control to it. I just don't agree with it.
Counselor Perry?
I just agree, I agree with Mr. Comito about number 11. Treats are allowed, should be allowed. I don't see why you can't give your dog a treat.
Again,
It's
these
like I
are
said.
kind of a standard package. The only thing, and she's not here tonight, our animal control officer does a fantastic job if you haven't had time to meet with her. She does a great job. She researched this. It was presented to me. We put the package forward and agreeing with Councilor DiMederos. The issue becomes, I have my dog, he gets plenty of treats, but when you're in public or at the dog park, I think it's kind of to avoid a swarm or a fight with other dogs if they become fighting over a treat.
But I just think if you're walking it, if you're training your dog in the dog park, you want him to sit, he sits, gets a treat.
I understand.
It's just,
The dog park committee also looked at this. I'm their liaison, and I know they looked at this also.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
I take my wife for ice cream, she sits in the car, she behaves, she gets.
If I say that, I come home with a black eye, so I shouldn't say that.
If she's not my second driver.
So, do I have a motion to approve the ordinance?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? I just have one. I think Councilor Comito does raise some points, but I think it would be important for us to get these, at least these bulk of these rules in place now, and then come back and make some amendments to the ordinance at a future date, if that's acceptable. Unless you have proposed amendment right on the spot.
I can bring your concerns to the dog park committee also, if you would like.
Yeah. Motion by Councilor DiMederos, seconded by Councilor Burke. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, I appreciate your time tonight.
Go celebrate.
Thank you.
All right, now back to our regularly scheduled program, appointments and resignations. We have to acknowledge the resignation of John Hardman from the Budget Committee effective October 30th, 2025. Mr. Hardman is now serving on the Economic Development Commission and cannot hold an elected office on the Budget Committee at the same time as his position on the EDC. So with that, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept his resignation with regret.
Second, discussion.
Yes, discussion.
I think after this, the budget committee doesn't have a quorum, do they? I don't think so. Because I was thinking of it, and the last time we're gonna, so if anyone out there wants to be on the budget committee, call Joan. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Not opposed. Next up, Semi-Quincentennial Commission, 9-member board, 3 electors of the town, 1 vacancy. We have Louis A. Muddy Sr., 55 A Muse Way, requests appointment for a term ending 12/31/2026. Is Mr. Muddy present?
I'm here.
All right, come on down.
Sit in that chair?
If you wouldn't mind, sir.
We don't bite.
I didn't know how I should dress, but
You're perfectly fine. So, thank you for your interest in the committee. We appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind, just a quick, couple words as to why you'd like to join.
Peter Moon is, I guess, running the group.
He's the chairman.
He says he doesn't have a quorum. He's looking for other people to help, maybe generate ideas and participate with the meeting. So he wanted me to step forward and volunteer to help out.
Thank you, and thank you for obliging.
Thank you.
All right, any questions from the council? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion, to waive our policy and appoint this evening.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded by several. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? All right, now I'd like to entertain a motion to appoint Louis A. Muddy Sr. of 55 Muse Way to the Semi-Quincentennial Commission.
So moved.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Congratulations, thank you for your service.
All right, fair enough. Yeah. If my dad was here, he'd probably be involved. Unfortunately, he's not here, but a lot of the town people knew him from back
Yeah, I
in the
do know
day.
my name.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
I just talked to Peter and
Yes, sir.
my involvement. Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
All right.
Mr. Moniz will
Thank you,
reach
guys.
out. You are good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Juvenile Hearing Board, 7-member board, 3-year term. We have one vacancy. Mr. Sodoma, 19 Bayview Avenue, requests appointment for a term ending 10/15/2028. And you are currently the alternate. Mr. Sodoma, is
Good
there a
evening,
committee
everyone.
you are not involved in?
I currently serve as an alternate on the Juvenile Hearing Board. I was appointed in February of 2022. I have attended all the meetings, all the hearings. I participated in at least 90% of them as far as being active with people being out, the alternate moving up. The seat became available, and I'm just interested in moving from alternate to fill the seat.
Perfect. Any questions from the council? Councilor Camino.
Are you still involved in the campground down off of Corey's Lane?
Am I still involved in a campground?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes. Are you still chasing all the kids out of there?
Is there any kids down there?
Are you still chasing the kids out of there?
No.
Okay, very good. You've chased
So
me out.
far, so good.
You chased me out of there a few
But
times.
the only thing is, I'm only down there
I
one
just
day a
wanted to
week.
make sure you were still doing it.
Councilor Camino, you're going to need to do another
You
recusal
have
form.
my
All right, so since this is technically an appointment, I'd like to entertain a motion to waive our policy and appoint this evening.
So?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's been made by several, seconded by Councilor Burke. All those in favor? Okay, now I'd like to entertain a motion to appoint
Thank you.
Robert Sodoma, 19
Not
Bayview
yet.
Ave,
Not yet.
Not that easy.
to the Juvenile Hearing Board
I'm just in a
for the
hurry.
term ending 10/15/2028. So motion by Councilor Perry, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, seconded by Councilor Camino, good job. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? All right, now congratulations.
Now I can,
Yeah, you're in.
thank you all.
Thank you. Next up is the Library Board of Trustees, 7-member board, 3-year terms. We have one vacancy. James Walter Forrest, 63 Mainsail Drive, requests reappointment for a term ending 10/15/2028. As this is a reappointment, we do not need to interview Mr. Forrest unless the council would like to. If not, I'd like to entertain a motion to reappoint James Forrest, 63 Mainsail Drive, to the Library Board of Trustees.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? All right. Finally, Litter Committee, 5-member board, 4-year terms. We have one vacancy. Diane Sunderland, 55 Riverscape Lane, requests reappointment for term ending 10/15/2028, same as the Library Board of Trustees. So I'd like to entertain a motion to reappoint Diane Sunderland.
Second.
Motion been made, seconded by several. All those in favor? All right. Next up is Administrator Jones, the presentation, discussion, and possible vote to authorize the administrator to enter into an agreement with the town's contract engineer, Pare Engineering, to conduct a feasibility study for DPW Recycling Center and Public Safety Complex using prior appropriations. Mr. Administrator, I believe Pare is present, yes?
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. This was on your agenda last time, and obviously there were some questions by myself and the council. So I asked Mr. Thies and his team from Pare Engineering to come and make a presentation for the council, and they're ready to present to you tonight.
All right, take it away, gentlemen.
They're going to come up here, actually, and I think you need to move
Yeah,
out.
I'm gonna be out of here.
Hit him right in the head.
The engineer.
Can you see that door still open? Is the front door still open? The front door. I want to know if the front door was still open.
Okay, is everybody ready?
Take it away, gentlemen.
All right, thank you very much. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tim Thies. I'm a senior vice president at Pare Corporation. A little bit about Pare. Pare has been working with the town of Tiverton for over 40 years on various engineering assignments. We're a local firm. We're based out of Lincoln. I myself, I have been with PAR for 23 years, and in my entire career at PAR, I have been working with the town of Tiverton on various assignments, so pretty much continuously for the last 23 years. We're always excited about new opportunities to work with the town. The town's been a great client over the last 40-plus years. I have brought with me tonight some of my colleagues from Secotio Architects. We've partnered with Secotio on this project. We've worked with Secotio on a number of similar projects. PAR has done a number of these projects, Secotio has done a number of these projects, and we've done a number of these kinds of projects together. I will let my colleagues here introduce themselves.
Kyle Robinson, I'm a project architect with Secotio and Associates.
And Steve Guglielmo, I'm a principal with the Secotio and Associates.
So I really want to leave time for questions, so I'm going to straighten this out, and I'm going to go through this presentation kind of quickly. So a little bit about what's in our proposal. I understand that you guys have our proposal in front of you, and you've seen it. And I'm talk about the public safety building. I'm going to talk about the public works building. I'm going to talk about them together because the process that we're proposing in our proposal to do the needs assessment and to do the conceptual work that we're proposing, it's the same process. It's a very, very similar process, I should say, for both the public safety and for public works. So I'm going to talk about the process for both of them at the same time. And so as we understand it, the town is interested in building a new public safety building and potentially consolidating a couple of fire stations and the police station into one location, and that location is the location of the current public works garage. To do that, we would have to move the public works garage, and right now the plan is to move that to the industrial park, to some of the town-owned land within the industrial park. So to set out on this endeavor, right, the town is going to want to understand, like, what is the magnitude of this project that they're looking at, both in terms of cost, both in terms of schedule, just physically, what are these buildings potentially going to look like? How are they going to fit on the sites that they're proposed for? And so the purpose of this project is to give the town some of that information, is to help the town make an informed decision as they move forward, right? So help you understand what the order of magnitude is here in terms of cost and schedule and the physical nature of these facilities. And so the way we're going to do that, we're going to build out this program. We're going to start with what's called a needs assessment. And the needs assessment helps us build out a program for these buildings. And by that I mean to understand the kinds of spaces we need for these buildings, how those spaces work together, just the physical size of these spaces, right? That's the first thing that we're going to do, is do this needs assessment. And I'll let Steve or Kyle talk a little bit about that needs assessment for these buildings.
Yeah, what we would typically do, we would interview, say for instance, the police department, we would interview everyone from the colonel down to the head of maintenance for the entire department, every department head, okay? We would assess the existing conditions of the building, how many square feet they're living in, each department, how many square feet, how many people in each department, so we can make an assessment on how many square feet that they're gonna need as they grow. We always project it by so many years out. We do the same thing for the fire. We interview the chief all the way down to maintenance, and the same thing for a DPW. So we interview for a couple of days, however many hours it takes to interview, and then we do the facilities walkthroughs and assessments. So that's how it's done on all projects. Okay. And you can see the administration, we assess the spaces, existing square footage, and proposed square footage, and then notes after that. So that's how we come up with our concept and how we come up with the gross square footage of each building that's needed.
So what I have on the screen here, this is just an example of a table that we've produced in the past for a public safety building for a needs assessment. And like Steve mentioned, you can kind of see how we go through it. We look at current staffing, future staffing, offices, workstations, locker rooms, really everything you would need in a public safety building. Let me advance to the next slide here, if I can. And then we would do the same thing for, this is an example of one that we did for a Public Works. It's the same process, you know, obviously the needs are a little bit different. You know, we're looking at, you know, vehicle maintenance in addition to, you know, break rooms and, you know, we got locker rooms in both facilities. So it's the same process, but the spacing and the needs are a little bit different, but we would look at both. So once we get through the needs assessment and we understand what the needs are, what the physical needs are based on the square footage that we need, we'll start to pull together building concepts, right? Understanding how big these buildings might need to be, understanding how the spaces need to be arranged, right? What rooms should be next to other rooms, that kind of thing. We'll start to come up with concepts for buildings. I'll let Steve or Kyle talk a little bit about this building concept we have in front of us that was for a public safety building.
Yeah, this is one of the schemes that we did for the Pawtucket Police Department. And what we do is we come up with the square footages based on the interviews and the walkthroughs and the information we've gathered from the actual meeting and walking through the spaces to come up with the proper square footages, and we arrange them in adjacencies that work for the departments. This happens to be a two-story scheme, and we also look at a single-story scheme, depending on how we're gonna fit it on the site. So this is just the next step. It's like more of a bubble diagram, adjacency diagram, just to make sure we know how things are gonna go together and how pieces fit together.
This is a similar one, a similar diagram that was done for a public works facility. And you can see on this one, you can kind of see the program that's happening for some, you know, construction equipment that they have in here for the trucks. So just like with the public safety building, for public works, we would do the same kind of building concepts. You know, lay out the size of the building, you know, which rooms should be near each other, how, you know, here you can see we've got like a drive-through garage, right? So you can stack vehicles inside for vehicle storage. I know Public Works here does a lot of their own mechanical work, right? They have mechanics in-house, so that's going to be an important consideration when we look at the Public Works. And I know that they do mechanical work not just on their own vehicles, but for police and fire as well. So that's going to be an important consideration for this Public Works garage. So once we get through, you know, we do the needs assessment, we figure out some building schematics, understand how the building is going to come together. We then put that on the property. We put that on a site plan for each site, one for public safety, one for public works, to understand how that program is going to fit on that site and make sure that the sites that we're proposing can accommodate these buildings. We need to look at circulation, we need to look at stormwater, we need to look at if there's other physical constraints like wetland constraints, we need to understand that. So the next step is to take these building concepts and actually put them on a site plan. Hold on a sec. So this is an interesting one. I'll let Steve talk about this one. This is a similar one to what we're proposing here.
Yeah, this again is the Pawtucket Public Safety Complex. After looking at several sites, it was decided that they would put it on the existing DPW site. So it's very similar to your project, where they're combining 2 to maybe 3 fire stations with the police station to make it a major headquarters. And it's going on a DPW site, and they're gonna take that DPW building, knock it down, and build it on another site. And we're gonna be designing that building too. So it's very similar to your project, and this is how we kind of do adjacencies and test fits on sites. We've got maybe 2 or 3 schemes similar to this to make it fit on this particular site.
And then, very similarly, this is one that we're doing for just a public works facility on a site that a town owns right now. As a matter of fact, they have some public works on this particular site already, but they want to, I'll say, clean up the site, and they want to make the site more functional. So here's one where they're actually going to wind up tearing down a lot of their public works facilities and reconfiguring the site and putting all new facilities on. So here's a site where we knew the constraints in a lot of detail. So then once we get through the needs assessment and the building concepts and then the site concepts, right, and we're going to put all that together, and we're going to we're going to start to look at costs, right? That's obviously a really important factor in this project. So we're going to start to pull together pricing for these concepts. And so we'll put together pricing for the public safety building, and we'll put together pricing for the public works. And these will be, order of magnitude prices. They'll include soft costs like engineering and design services, contingency, some contractor soft costs as well. And this should give the town a sense of, again, the order of magnitude, what the town is looking at in terms of cost for these projects, and then help the town decide if and how they move forward with these two projects. Part of this, what's in our proposal, the last task in our proposal, is also to do a response time study. And I'll let these gentlemen talk about the response time study.
So in the proposal, there are two options for the response time study. So the overview is, the idea is how quickly can the fire department react and arrive on a scene based on their location. So option one is kind of a brief overview on this. So this is taking historical data on different apparatus, so say an engine, how far an engine can go in, typical throughout the country over 3-minute period, showing what that area is covered by the station in this location. And that can really it's really when we're talking about one site, what does that site cover? Very kind of, I won't say generically, but it's really about a radius that can cover. The second option is to get much more in depth. This goes into actual call history throughout the department that can locate where the department's usually going or typically going, how often they're going in certain areas. It looks at actual street grids, and it allows for a more in-depth study of, okay, if we take out 2 of these stations and combine them to one, what does the town look like? What if we move it to a different location that may or may not be considered right now? So it just gets more in depth. It's a little more accurate, a little more realistic to how the department functions on a daily basis. It's really more looking, so instead of at one station, it's really looking at the whole town as a whole and what you would do, by combining these stations, what would it really do? And is this the best location to make that consolidation?
So those are the elements of our proposal. I want to open it up to you folks if you have questions.
How well we don't gather.
Sure.
I have some questions, but questions from the council first. Councilor Burke.
These may be too early in the process, but one of the things that we've talked about, at least I know Patrick, the administrator's talked about, is having community space in the police station area so that meetings like this could be held, because we have a dearth of space in town. So I don't know if that's being looked at in this part of the process.
If the town's desire is to have, community space, and that's actually a pretty popular feature in some of these new public safety buildings, that would get folded into the needs assessment, right?
That would come out of the program.
Yep.
When we sit down and meet with everyone.
Okay.
The more information we get, the better, result we're gonna have. So if it's a community room that's desired, then, we make it happen, we fit it into the program.
Okay. So that leads to my second question. At what point in the process do you do community outreach to get, and, certainly the input of those who use the buildings is important, but, so for example, if we're gonna eliminate a fire station, how do those folks in that area get to have input on what their concerns are?
I think that's towards, first we do the interviews, understand what the needs of the departments are, and then once we start to form that building, how much square foot, that's when you start bringing in the community and saying, okay, this is what they need, but what else is going on? So it's really after getting that initial feedback from the departments and understanding what, part of that is what would they like and what do they absolutely minimum need to function.
Right.
So that we have an understanding of where they would like to be and versus where they need to be to make that building work.
Okay. And last question is, in buildings where you have combined police and fire, do you do combined locker shower rooms, or are they usually separate?
That's a good question.
Looking for savings.
Typically not. We were told specifically, when we're doing Pawtucket right now, and we were told specifically to keep them separate. The only thing they share in that building is gonna be the lobby. We tried to get them to maybe share the exercise room, weight room, and they nixed it. So they said, nope, they have to have separate, for certain reasons.
Yeah, I'll say, it's,
I mean, I can see with the locker rooms with, I mean, police officers have firearms. I mean, I can understand that issue, but I know, like Councilor Burke was saying, I'd like to see some commonality, like a training room, like a room like this that could be a shared area for both police, fire.
Training rooms we can share, but as far as like exercise rooms and things like that, we've been persuaded not to try to combine them.
So,
I mean, who's brought
your
it up?
analogy, so combining it, you, like, in today's day and age in the fire service, you talk about, the town council was just gracious enough to buy, phosphorus-free turnout gear, right? So when these guys come back from a fire and shower, you don't want them sharing showers
That makes sense.
on the police side, because you wanna keep those contaminants to, the fire side.
Makes sense.
So, if we're gonna die of cancer, we just wanna kill the fire department side and leave our police force,
Speaking as a former police officer, we appreciate it.
Yeah. So it's not just like,
No,
there's a lot behind
I
that.
ask questions and you give me an answer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Counselor Janik.
So what about shared dispatch? Don't we do that now?
Yes.
yes.
So this whole plan is like very generic. This is like what we are going to do. You haven't done any of, like, talked with anybody yet or know what the ideas, because there are definitely a lot of ideas. Our administrator is the former police chief, as you know, so he definitely has some ideas. And
We are at, from our standpoint, we are at square one.
Okay.
We're just starting.
we haven't started. So when we say go, what's the time frame? And I'm not holding you to it, but like from day one to a plan, approximately?
So, our experience with these, depending on the amount of feedback we get, depending on the amount of meetings that we have, I mean, this can be a process that takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months to work through.
Okay.
And again, it's all about the feedback we get.
I was just gonna say, and with your experience, do you get a lot of feedback and you have to go back and rework
Yes.
a number of times?
Yeah, we'll come up with a concept, and, things change all the time. Someone would maybe change their mind on something, or one major may retire, you got another major there, and he's got different ideas, so you meet with him and we change some things, so it's an evolving process.
So, and definitely we would need plans to expand, to grow into this, because our town is building a lot, there's more homes, there's, probably gonna be more needs with our police and fire and DPW. So, whatever works now, like, we need to make a plan now that's gonna hold us for many, many years
Yep.
We
in
look
the
at
future.
demographics, we look at, I think the last one we're doing is we're looking 25 years out. So,
Okay.
how many officers are gonna be hired, per year for the next so many years.
Yeah, when you get past 20, 25 years, it gets to be guessing.
Yep, I
So,
understand.
and obviously, you don't want to overbuild either, so there's a fine line, but as part of, when we're doing the programming, that's all, it's, what are you doing now? What do you have for staff now? What are you projecting you need to see, 20, 25 years down the road?
Perfect.
And then we try to find the sweet spot in there that's
Right.
not overbuilding.
We don't wanna move into it and already have outgrown it, but
Exactly.
I understand we don't want a lot of big open space
We look
either.
at, what's being developed, developments in the
Yep.
area, how many people are moving into the area, so they can
A lot.
gauge the size of the departments on that.
You'll be amazed.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the council?
I just have
Councilor
one.
Perry.
This Pawtucket project that's going on right now, The Tuckett project is going on right now?
Yeah, right now it's on hold.
Oh.
We've been asked to stop for a little while, but it's gonna start up again.
What's the estimated cost on that?
That one there, that's a pretty large project. They've got obviously, you know, many more officers, and they have more fire. I think that one there came in about $80 million for the preliminary estimates.
Okay. I like the idea about going up 2 stories, and especially if we don't have enough property to make it all one level.
Yep.
Especially the police. Fire, I don't think you could go up.
Yeah,
but-
we've done 2-story police station.
Yeah.
They go right down, they go right down.
We don't want them getting hurt.
Yeah, and it depends on the site too, obviously. If you have a smaller site, you need to go 2 stories.
Yeah.
So, but,
No poles.
no poles.
Thank you.
Okay. So I do have a couple questions, gentlemen. Obviously, what we're talking about here is pretty ambitious, but we do have a specific time frame as it relates to DPW, in that we have 4.5 years until we have to vacate a site because our lease expires. So when you say 3 to 6 months time frame, is that for both concurrently, or if we started with DPW, could you speed that process up?
So the plan is to do 2 concurrently. We could prioritize DPW to get that one done sooner. I would still recommend doing them sort of together, right? Not totally separating.
At least the design part. I mean, we're not gonna
Yeah.
break off $80 million for both
Sure.
at one time.
So for this study, I would still recommend doing them together, but we can prioritize DPW.
Okay.
And then, you know, once you guys understand the magnitude of the 2 projects, we'll say, the DPW and public safety, we can set out on Public Works right away, right? That would be the first one to get done.
That would be my preference. I don't know what the council's feelings are, but
Because the DPW site is also the recycling center.
Say that again?
The DPW site will be where the recycling center is.
Correct.
Yep.
That's how we understand it, yep.
Yes.
and I'm sure the administrator shared a lot more details with you, so. All right, and then as far as cost for both, initial costs?
Meaning our costs or the cost to
Like,
do?
cost to do this, signed, sealed, delivered, here's your concepts.
So this proposal here, all in.
I'm sorry, I don't have a copy of it in front of me,
okay,
that's
I'm
why
sorry.
I asked.
I can give you a copy. Our cost all in is 113 for both.
Okay.
113,400, the exact amount.
And not to put you on the spot, Mr. Administrator, but I believe we have that in the bank, yes, sir?
We do, yes. And just for the public and for the council, too, just to run down what Tim is saying. For the basic services, public safety feasibility study is $48,900. The DPW feasibility study, which I assume will include the recycling center, sir? That is $46,800. The response time for public safety, as previously mentioned, was $5,600, $5,600. And then there's a cost estimating of $12,100. Tim, can you address that, explain that?
Sure. So the cost estimating is the last piece that we do. Once we've built out the program and done the needs assessment, done the conceptual site plans, then we start putting pricing to it, right? We bring some cost estimators to do that. And, you know, they look at recent projects that they've done, they look at industry pricing, you know, on a let's say a square foot basis for certain things. They look at, you know, what we're paying for furniture lately, what we're paying for IT support, that kind of thing. And we put all that together in the cost estimating phase.
So that comes to a total basic services lump sum fee of $13,400. Excuse me, $113,000.
Guys, we got 13 grand, let's go.
That's a good deal.
$113,400.
And then follow-on question, I'm assuming once we get these concepts down, next phase would be bidding it out. I'm assuming that your 2 organizations would be involved in the construction phase, yes or no?
So, yes, so just to be clear, so what this is concept level. This is, once you complete this this scope, and you say, all right, we like these programs, we like the way they fit on the sites, we're good with this, Then what we do is we advance it through schematic and then through construction documents, which is not included in this. So we take it through schematic, which is a more detailed design, and then we use the schematic to permit the project, because there's gonna be a lot of permits that we have to get,
From the state, not from the town.
from the state, for sure. Wetlands, stormwater.
Planning board has no bearing on us.
I mean, that's, you know, we usually do have to go in front of planning board. Okay.
We'll throw them all off.
So so then we do the permitting with the schematic, and then once we get all the permits, then we develop construction documents. Then those construction documents, we help you put that out to bid, get pricing back, and then there's a construction phase services that happens after that.
All right, so let's say 3 to 6 months, let's be optimistic, 3 months, we get a schematic in front of us for DPW, then you gotta go through the next phase, and then the construction document phase. Realistically speaking, if we say jump today, where are we at to breaking ground on the new DPW facility?
So, once the town approves a concept, for public works only, we're talking, once they
Yep.
approve a concept, to get through schematic design and the permitting, you're probably talking about a year.
Okay.
To get through that. Once we get all our permits in place, you know, it's gonna take us a few more months, 2-3 months to pull together the construction documents. So, you know, you're looking at potentially a 1.5 to 2 years.
Okay,
to
and
break
then
ground.
construction's probably another 1.5, 2 years beyond that?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we basically need to pull the trigger on this today as it relates to DPW, or pray to God Jim Long's gonna give us another extension.
Yeah, but we also have to put the money involved.
Well, very much so. I mean, we need to look at the money too, yeah.
And I understand the urgency to get I understand the urgency is that you have to get the temporary recycling facility off of that site, right? That can be an advanced piece of the project
Yep.
if need be, right? We could say, look, there's gonna be an advanced site work package.
Right,
That-
we don't need a building to move.
No,
the
I
recycling
understand
center.
that, but-
We-
Right, I mean, no
We need
disrespect. I mean,
property.
we need to remove the recycling center. So, I mean, as we progress, if the council sees fit to promote or endorse this project, and then we get to a point that we're having delays, and then we're up against a time clock with the Longplex, that would be, I would recommend, or we could revisit, moving that recycling center, because that would be the issue, just that plot of land. Correct, sir.
Yeah.
Like, if we can understand where that's gonna go early in the process on the DPW site, like I said, that could be an advanced site work to advance that quickly.
So that would be a determination after you have your interviews on how much acreage we need.
Right.
To hold the facility and the recycling center.
Correct.
So that's the first part we would have to determine before we decide to even, because we have to get the land first.
Well,
I know we have land in the industrial park, but what I'm saying is, we have to
Yeah.
choose.
Right.
And more importantly, there's not a whole heck of a lot of land left in the industrial park at this point, so we need to make a decision on site selection pretty quickly, because, at least from my perspective, that by the time we're all running for reelection, like, we should have P&Ls signed for the, whatever land is not being kept for DPW, my opinion.
Re-election.
Try and get, dispose of whatever land is not being used. Well, either way.
Mr. Administrator, didn't we have some funds already appropriated
We
towards
do.
this, like?
Yes, sir.
like 50?
So for,
Is it-
there's 50,000 for a public safety feasibility study. There is also approximately 650,000 for the recycling center. So there are funds available for both. And I mean, I would defer to the solicitor. I know that that was done out of gaming revenue, I believe, the 650,000 and the 50,000 respectively.
Yes.
Can we repurpose money out of the 650,000 for a feasibility study, given that we're going to do recycling and DPW?
I remind me, we did $650,000 for the recycling?
This might have
Yes,
been right when you first started as a solicitor.
Yes. It's still there.
Okay.
Well, the 50, well, why don't you start with the easy part? The 50,000 is for public safety
Yes,
study,
sir.
right?
Yes.
So that could
That's already-
automatically go, is that,
If
is
we
this above and
authorize-
beyond that, or is the 50,000
No,
going?
that's included.
No,
That's part of this.
48.9 is the feasibility study for the police department, so we have
Half of this already.
we have that part covered. And then out of the 650 would be DPW, but it was earmarked for recycling center, but since, I think what the administrator's drafting is, since the recycling center would be co-located with said DPW facility, would we have to issue another resolution?
And that was for that was from casino revenue?
Yes, sir.
He was here for
Well, I don't.
Former Chair Hilton was in the seat when it went down.
I think you would have to just do another resolution just to reappropriate it, because it's more than just recycling center now, it's now DPW and recycling. Just to
keep it clean.
Just to keep it clean. Yeah. So there's no question. I'm sure the treasurer would require us to do that as well.
Okay.
But that's not a problem. If the money's there, we just amend the resolution.
On the study for the times and getting around the 5,600, I think most of that information would come from the fire department, right? Because we have all that now. I don't know how extensive it would be. I don't know if there could be any, I know it's only 5,600, but it's not really difficult to pull up those numbers on how long it took the fire truck to get from North Tiverton to South Tiverton, or how long, where the rescues, we have a lot of that data already.
I don't disagree, sir. I think, and I don't want to speak for the team here, but I think one of the purposes would be, given that we have 3 fire departments, could we shut down all 3? Knowing that.
Well, that would be the second half of the study.
Right, but I guess it's a response time, as you know, it's a response time issue. If we are planning on, and again, feasibility is keeping this wide open. We have a proposed location, given that we have town land, where the current police department is, where the current DPW is, and the industrial park. The team could come back and say, this might not work for you. And then we'd be in a whole different ballgame for public safety, specifically. I mean, DPW, I think, is a little easier of a lift, but when it comes to public safety, I personally feel that it is at a good location.
I agree with you.
But I think this will like kind of solidify it the best that they can. And I think the other issue that the council should also consider, aside from this, and maybe not tonight, but traffic. Knowing that we already have traffic concerns with public safety, DPW, the growth of the industrial park, and the development that is going on a half a mile down the road, we should be talking about, I know we're talking with DOT about traffic signals and the 24 interchange. Now that, this should be something that should be part of this overall look.
I don't disagree at all with the traffic study. I think the town should be taking actually the lead on the traffic study with the industrial park, Fish Road complex, the one going across the street, Sousa Road. I think the town has a responsibility to lead that entire study, if not fund that a study, or however, to make sure it's right.
I mean, sir, this is not part of your proposal tonight, but can you just speak to it?
Yes, I can. So, a traffic study, yes, this is gonna go right at the entrance of the industrial park, right? The industrial park it's gonna be developed, right? And that's gonna generate traffic, and I can't tell you today what that traffic's gonna look like. I'm well aware of the other development pressure going on in town, right? I think a traffic study is definitely warranted at some point in this process, not just for what we're proposing, but to look at all of this. So I think it is warranted. It's not included in this, but I think it is warranted. And I understand that the town may have petitioned for a light at that intersection. The DOT makes the determination on lights. The DOT does their own study.
They're currently doing one right now.
They're currently doing one. So what I would suggest is when you guys get the results of that study, we can do a peer review of that for you, if you'd like, as a starting point. We have traffic engineers that do traffic studies. We can take a look. We can vet their findings. If we think maybe they missed something, we can get that back in. Their findings might be spot on, but at least you'll have a second opinion at that point.
Okay. Any further questions from the council? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion to authorize the administrator to enter into the agreement with Pare. And would it be a joinder agreement between, it's pretty much, you're the lead?
We'll be the prime.
You'll be the prime. Okay, with Pare Engineering to conduct the feasibility studies for DPW Recycle Center and Public Safety Complex. Do I have a second? Motion's been made and seconded. Just for clarification purposes, Mr. Solicitor, this will result in a subsequent resolution at our next meeting?
To reallocate that, yeah, I'm looking for the resolution right now, but yes, reallocate, yes.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? None opposed. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Is that yours?
That's the library, sir.
Oh, okay. You just hit the power button. It's like been blinding me this whole time. I want to thank all 6 of you for being here. All right, next item on the agenda, Administrator Jones, discussion and possible vote to award contract for Town Hall Asbestos remediation. Mr. Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. President. So as part of your backup, you see we got numerous bids for the asbestos abatement plan.
Sorry, the Administrator requested that we withdraw, he withdraw.
I apologize. I did speak with the President at the beginning of the meeting. I'm just going to hold it. I want to speak to the Treasurer about that. So it'll be on your, more than likely on your next agenda. But we had 6 bids for the asbestos in Town Hall, and as you know, this will be the removal of the asbestos tile underneath the existing carpeting for Town Hall. So hopefully we can be back in there by Christmas. It's my recommendation to you that number 1, statewide asbestos for the amount of $12,780 would be the one that I would recommend to you to authorize me to engage in a contract to remove the asbestos at Town Hall. That is the funding that you just recently approved.
Motion's been made by Councilor Perry to accept the bid, or direct the Administrator to sign the contract with statewide asbestos for an amount of $12,780. Seconded by Councilor DiMedeiros. Any further discussion? Councilor
Question. These bids are so, I mean, they start at 12,000 and go up to 47. They're for the same thing, right? We're comparing apples to apples?
So, yes, ma'am. So what ended up happening, as you know, when we discovered the asbestos in Town Hall, we called the state, and they gave us someone who does testing specifically for this. And then they do not bid on the job, but what they do is they test and confirm the existence of the asbestos in a building. And then they give us a plan that we send to, it's the Department of Health, basically. They review the plan, and given the test results that come back from the testing, and it is very pre forma. So this is the plan, given what this is, we take that plan, and then we bid out that plan to all the asbestos companies. So and I agree with you, I mean, yeah, from 50,000 to 12,000. In looking at statewide, I know I spoke with the maintenance director, I looked over there. They're a very reputable business. You know, they do business both in Rhode Island and Maine. We're looking forward to working with them. And from the top bid to the low bid, it's about a $30,000 difference.
I question, are they going to come back and then say, oops, we missed something, or we need to
based
add?
on what you're going to vote on tonight, I have a budget of $12,780. That's it.
Okay.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda, Councilor DiMedeiros, discussion and possible vote to approve Resolution 2025-0037, advocating for amendment to Rhode Island General Law 44728. Mr. Solicitor.
You got to defer to me? Yes, all right, thank you. This comes from the, some research we did with the tax collector. I don't want to get into too much of the weeds on this, but mobile homes in the town under state law are classified as residential. We tax them as residential. However, if you do not pay your property taxes as a trailer owner or a mobile home owner, we cannot foreclose upon them because the lien, first of all, there is no lien, and second of all, even if there was a lien, the lien has to be on real estate, and a mobile home is not considered real estate. And the land underneath the mobile home is usually owned by a different company. So in doing a little research and talking with the tax collector to hopefully give us a little bit more teeth in these things, we looked at some other towns, and there is a law that's currently on the books at Rhode Island General Laws 447-28, which allows towns, particular named towns, to put a 20-year lien on the mobile home itself. So that way there would be an enforcement mechanism if there are undue property taxes on that mobile home. So this was really just asking the General Assembly to amend that law. I believe it was Exeter, Burrville, and I think it was Gloucester that are currently have this right, and we would just add Tiverton to that, so we would have the right to lien that, and it would. And when it's transferred, like when you buy a piece of property and you owe back taxes on real estate or a house, we get what you call a municipal lien certificate. They tell you what the back taxes are, and from the closing cost, those taxes are paid. Mobile homes, because they're considered personal property, they don't request a municipal lien certificate. They don't need to. Usually it's just a bill of sales between two people. The town would never know about it. So we put a lien on the property, and we think this will help us enforce and collect some of the back due taxes going forward on a going forward basis.
Okay. Thank you. Any further, any questions from the council? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2025-0037.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilor DiMedeiros, seconded by Councilor Perry. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Unanimous. All right, next up, Assessor Robert. Discussion and possible vote on the clarification of veteran exemption for widows, widowers, and possible adjustment to Division III Veterans Exemption Tax Credits, and to authorize advertisement of proposed amendments to Code of Ordinances. Mr. Assessor.
Good evening. Mainly this began as a housekeeping measure. Under the Veterans Exemption State Statutes 4434, there are several veteran exemptions. One's just if you're a vet, one is that if you're a disabled vet, there's prisoner of war, their Gold Star parents and such. Under the veterans exemptions and the 100% disabled, if you have a grant that also afforded you the right to adapt your house for your disability, and also the prisoner of war, if that veteran passes away, the widow or widower is capable of continuing that exemption. The 100% disabled veteran exemption under state statute is silent on the widow part. So reviewing that with my staff and such, when instances show up, it just seems a bit unfair taking away a exemption of a 100% disabled veteran when someone loses their spouse, and then we're removing their exemption. So that's where this kind of began, and I talked to our solicitor. So what we would need to do is amend the state statute to allow a disabled veteran, and also we would have to amend our local ordinance that affects veterans. Continuing with the housekeeping part of it, you may recall a few years ago you amended the state statute that allows the veterans exemptions along with other exemptions to be a tax credit. When we made some of those changes for the 100% disabled veteran, the legislation actually put our amendment for that in the wrong section. So talking with Mike, we need to adjust that and put it into the correct section. It doesn't really affect anything because we still allow that 100% disabled vet exemption, but we just want to put it in its proper place.
So, Mr. Solicitor, is it fair to say we're going to need to kick this up to our state delegation? All right, so you'll draft an ordinance for, or a resolution for us for the next meeting?
It'll be a
in support of?
resolution, and I think probably just, if we can do a resolution, yes, and we'll do a letter explaining why we're doing what we're doing, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, Mr. Robert.
Sure, no, absolutely.
It may, excuse me, on the exemption that we just talked about, it may just be legislative council, excuse me, I forgot what they call it now. Not legislative council, but it's the group that codifies with the general assembly. They might be able to just move it. What's it called, Mike? I can't remember. Law revision. Law revision office may be able to just move it, but we'll have to deal with that.
Please continue, sir.
Absolutely, thank you. And while we are opening up the ordinance, the local ordinance, to amend some of the language, I thought maybe it might be a time to take a look at the veteran exemption dollar amount that we're given as a credit. I did a quick review of all the cities and towns, and as far as the regular veteran exemption is concerned, out of the 39 cities and towns, we're 23rd as far as given a high amount. The town of Forster starts at $21. We're at $220, and the highest exemption is in Block Island for $887. The local communities around us, Bristol, Little Compton, and Portsmouth, have an exemption of approximately $250. That would be my recommendation if the council so chose to increase the exemption. And along with that adjustment to the regular veteran exemption, I would take a look at the Gold Star parent exemption. It's currently $132. I think it would be more appropriate to reflect a veteran exemption of the $220 or the $250 if you so choose to change that. And as far as the ranking of the Gold Star exemption, Tiverton is 15th. The lowest, again, is a $21 credit. We're at $132, and Barrington actually offers a credit of $10,000 for a Gold Star parent. The majority is somewhere in the $200 range, close to $300. So the suggestion to go into $250 to reflect a veteran exemption, I think would be appropriate.
Councilor Camino.
Could we possibly get a copy of what the averages are?
Certainly.
So we can look at it and maybe make a decision how we can go up or down? Because that was my question on, I was just asking my colleague here on who actually sets these numbers on the credits. So I guess we have the chance to do that.
The town council is the one who has the authority to make the
So
adjustment.
I would like to see all the comparisons, so see where we can fall and make an informed, a better decision.
Mr. Solicitor, question for you. If we were to advertise the amendment to the ordinance, would we be able to amend that number on the spot at the public hearing?
Yes, after public hearing.
Okay. Yes, yeah, so it's gonna be, we're gonna have to go through the normal process, so we'll be hitting this. If we vote tonight to advertise, we'll be looking at, first meeting in December? No? We're not gonna make it timeline?
No.
No. We'll see you all just before Christmas, I guess.
You want the December 22nd, or are you canceling that meeting and it has to be the first meeting in January?
We are drafting, no offense to the tax assessor, the information that he provided was excellent. The way he amended it is not the proper form to amend an ordinance, so we're drafting an ordinance to reflect these changes. So we have to, that'll be drafted probably, I think it was drafted today, but it'll be advertised, if you want to pick an advertising date, it'll reflect these changes.
Councilor Janik?
Just in a better form.
The week of Christmas, I don't think is a great time to have a public hearing. I don't think, yeah, I don't think people will attend that. I mean, I don't know how many people would come to that, but people who would be passionate about it.
You don't need the, the exemption, you have January, you usually have a date that they'd have to apply for the exemption, right? It's after January anyway?
Correct.
January, March, so you
March
have.
March 15th. is the
March 15th
deadline.
is the deadline, so you have time.
Okay. Councilor Burke?
Just for clarification on 7461 and 7462, it just seems, I'm not sure. So if I'm a widow of a veteran, or a widower, I will get a $250 tax credit, right?
Correct.
Now, with the added language, if I'm the surviving spouse of a qualified veteran who was disabled, I get the 450.
100% disabled.
Okay. Okay, I guess that's the difference. I'm just trying to, it just seems odd that the widower or widow tax credit is 250 and the other one is 450.
Two separate categories.
No, I understand. I just,
Can they add those together, or it's one or the other?
One or the other.
No, because not all veterans are disabled vets.
Right.
Right.
So being the widow of a disabled veteran, they would get that 450.
Right. And
100%
They wouldn't get the
100%
100%,
disabled.
which, there's not a lot of people with 100%. It does say it in there. I do remember reading it.
That conforms to state law. The blue part is right now, we do not have the authority to issue that to a surviving spouse. We need, that's what we're gonna need legislation for.
So effectively, if somebody was the widow or widower of a 100% disabled veteran, when that veteran passes, the currently $440 tax credit drops to the currently $222 tax credit. So essentially what the assessor is saying is to keep that tax credit exactly the same for the widow or widower.
Right. And I think the reason for the distinction, I wasn't there when this was passed, but obviously totally or 100% disabled, it's to the person, right? So if that person dies, there's no, I would say there's no, that you can't transfer disability, basically. So that's why 100% disability is rare.
It is real.
Yeah.
But you're saying the hardship doesn't,
I'm saying that I think the policy reason for that, to not include the windows is the hardship doesn't necessarily follow it dies with the person.
They enjoy the benefit, but when that person dies, their taxes go up.
Correct. So, I mean, it's a policy decision, but I think that's the theory behind it, why it wouldn't transfer. But other towns do have the ability to transfer it, and we just need to clarify that language.
Okay. Any further questions, Councilor Burke?
Not on that, correct. I think we'll have it for the next meeting, we'll have a resolution asking them to add that exemption. I mean, to add that widow or, sorry.
All right.
And I know we'll probably talk about it at the public hearing as far as what the impact of adjusting that amount would be. But currently, if we do go to 250, the impact on the tax rate is about 0.4 of a penny.
Negligible.
Motion to approve for the clarification around the veterans exemptions for widows and widowers and possible adjustment to Division 3 veterans exemption tax credits and to advertise these proposed amendments for public hearing.
That would be January 12th. We have a second.
second.
Motion been made and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none of those in favor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Assessor. Next item on the agenda, Town Clerk, discussion and possible vote to advertise a public hearing of the Tiverton Code of Ordinances, Chapter 7 Tobacco. This proposed ordinance amendment will repeal Chapter 7 Tobacco of the Code of Ordinances for the Town of Tiverton, Rhode Island. Madam Clerk.
Well, the solicitor said I went a little too heavy on this one. So I cannot license tobacco, but there's some pieces of it that I struck out that probably needs to stay, but the licensing piece has to come out.
Well, you got rid of the whole thing.
Yeah.
She got very aggressive on this.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until,
Well, I was looking
later.
at it at home, I'm like,
So the town, even though we have a tobacco license on the books, there's case law out there that cities and towns do not have the authority to license tobacco. It's a project of the state, and so only the state can license tobacco. So we'll get rid of the license. But there are prohibitions here about purchase or sale that the reason why we have it, it does mirror state law. I think Councilman Burke put some of this stuff in last time we were here. And the reason, even though it mirrors state law, the benefit of having it in a local ordinance is that we can enforce it in municipal court. So that's why we keep, so like section 7-5 needs to stay in, so.
so it's gonna come back.
It should come back. So if you just give us permission to advertise the striking of the license part of it, the license part, we'll get something together.
Yeah, I'd like to entertain a motion to advertise for public hearing the striking of these sections as noted by the solicitor. Motion been made. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilor Burke. That'll be on the 12th as well. Perfect. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Okay, final item on our agenda this evening is discussion and possible vote to advertise a public hearing on proposed Code of Ordinance amendments as listed. Since this is for a public hearing, I'd like to entertain a motion to advertise the listed proposed amendments from the planning board.
So moved. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded by both Councilors Perry and Janik. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Oh, further discussion, Councilor Camino.
That talks about maybe having a workshop on this?
They did.
No, with the council and the planning board?
There was.
I thought we discussed it a little bit, a couple of meetings ago about.
Was it on this now?
It was on the zoning changes.
They had a workshop
Well, for us,
last
I
week.
would like to have a workshop with the planning and the council at some point. There's a lot of changes here. Some of it I don't agree with, but if I have an explanation from them on why they changed something. So I don't know if we have time to do that or not time to do that, but it would help me.
Why don't we do this, Councilor Camino, if it's acceptable? On the 12th, we can have said workshop prior to actually holding the public hearing. so we can get input and explanations, answer questions, and then roll into the
If you
public
think we
hearing.
have enough time, that's fine with me, but I just,
These are mostly mandated by state law. I think mostly 100%
Yeah.
mandated by state law there, so, but it's good to understand what's going on, so.
I think it would benefit the public, too.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
absolutely.
a lot of stuff here.
A lot of this is state law.
okay? One simple questioning, can answer it all.
Does that work?
I'd like to do that if it's appropriate.
Okay, and worst case, if we get into it and the public hearing's dragging on, we'll just continue the public hearing to the next meeting. So, all right, so motion been made and seconded. All those in favor? Oh, Counselor Perry.
Is there any way of getting all these before, like a week before the meeting, instead of 3 days before, so we can take a look at?
Get to the actual ordinance?
Well, we have the ordinance.
Yeah, you have it, it's in your packet.
Yeah.
No, it's in your packet here.
This one here, it's here.
Yep.
Yes.
But there's no explanation why the change.
There is a cover letter from the planning board. There's a cover memo from the chair.
But there's been meetings with us where we have discussed a lot of this.
I
At
don't know about the
beginning,
ADUs.
Well, with the state law changes.
Yeah, I mean, some of these are updated definitions. I mean, we're mirroring state law. What, I mean, again, I wasn't part of drafting this, but I will say that one of the things that it's clear to me that they're doing is they're finally adopting and coming into conformance with the ADU law. So alternate, and that's important to do.
Yes, there's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it, but there's very little discretion on the town's part.
Which is fine, but I want to understand it, and I want the people out there to understand it, because there's a lot of action on ADUs.
Yep.
Like being told you can have a garage or you can't have a garage, right?
If you have a current garage and you want to make it into an ADU, you absolutely can.
No, I'm talking about, put another ADU on a piece of property, you already have your current house, having an ADU. Let's say a client or a constituent just went through this, they just wanted an ADU, they started framing that house, started putting their garage in, and they were told they can't have a garage. Now, after their project started, they were corrected and said you can have a garage, and now they have to do a different foundation and all that stuff. So this is why I want it out in the public, so people can understand what they're doing. We can talk offline about it, but.
No, that's fine.
This happened recently, so, like, the process and what's law and what's not law, people need to understand.
I don't disagree. I just didn't understand what you were trying to, the garage, like, you threw me off with the
Quick
building a garage,
suggestion.
not building a garage, but we can talk.
Counselor Burke.
Quick suggestion, I'm not sure how complicated this would be. Is it possible to get this annotated to show, easily show what's being amended per state law?
Color coded all pink. Tell Mr. Romano to
Just
get moving.
even comments on the
I'll see,
sidebar.
I think so,
Or
yeah.
if the only sections that aren't being amended per state law, is, I'm just gonna pull one out, section 24AB, well, then just highlight, this is not in state law.
And can be
Whatever's
changed.
easier.
We can look at that.
And then you just say, everything that doesn't have a note to it is per state law, something like that.
All right, so motion's made, seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
112?
Yes. I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Seconded by several. All those in favor?